There, folks. Across America's farmlands, especially in Texas, there's an ongoing hidden war. It's farmers versus wild hogs, brutal and seemingly endless. The U.S. is home to over 9.3 million feral pigs. Texas alone has 5.7 million, found in 99% of its 254 counties. Yearly, these hogs cause $1.7 billion in farm and environmental damage. They're big and mean, some weighing up to 590 pounds. Their presence has robbed native species of food sources. Deer often flee when wild hogs move into their habitat. Hogs root and wallow, leaving huge holes and ruined crops. The conservation depth says 10 hogs can wreck 25 acres overnight. The holes dug by wild pigs can devastate farmers' livelihoods. They invade fields, disrupt crops, and spread pathogens and parasites. Their feces in fields leave infectious coliforms, risking human and livestock health. North Texas farmers report nightly damage worth thousands from feral pigs. Despite prevention efforts, farmers still struggle with wild boar problems. Their invasive success matches their breeding and adaptability. As an invasive species, wild boars lack significant natural predators. Thus, there's no natural way to control their population. Worse still, a sow can birth 2 litters of 5-8 piglets each, worsening the population issue. Births occur year-round, peaking in winter and spring for most wild boar populations. In areas with plentiful food, like farms or where wildlife is fed, breeding rates can exceed the average. They adapt extremely well to their environment. In dry years, wild boars roam further for food and water. In wet years, wild boars thrive and more piglets survive. They eat anything: roots, veggies, worms, and bugs. When possible, boars prefer crops, often 50% plus of their diet, severely damaging fields. Wild boars even eat veal, sheep, and deer when given the chance. Known for gluttony, adult boars eat 3% of their body weight daily in just 4-6 hours. Pigs' rapid digestion shows their enormous appetite. That's why wild boars can devastate your farm. These farmers are fencing off their agricultural areas. They'll use designs that protect livestock and deter invasive species. As seen, boars can break many fences and enter farms, even in daylight. So, farmers must build a robust protection system. Fencing out wild pigs works for small farms, but it's costly. However, it's less effective on a larger scale. Besides fences, traps are a common and effective method. A Wild pig elimination. A wired gate system allows boars in but prevents escape. The large, sturdy metal trap is baited with corn to lure them. The goal is to capture the entire herd at night in one go. Boars have poor vision, making trapping easier. Many are caught by morning. Farmers then cull the boars, leaving them to decompose or collecting them for processing. These traps save time and effectively control invaders. Texas reports show this effort costs about $3 million annually. As rice and soybean fields ripen, they'll become wild boars' favorite target. Boars aren't active during the day, and farmers work all day, but farmers must protect their land. They'd have to go out at night and do something. Hour-long chases like this happen to protect their fields. The more frequent the hunting, the more likely the area near the farm will limit boar presence while slowing their reproduction. After setting the timer, this machine will shoot corn to attract nearby pigs. Hunters can then easily target and kill them from distant spots along Texas fields. You'll see this scene often. You may find this hunt brutal, but it's the result of devastation causing severe economic and personal harm. These shots aim to reduce wild boar numbers in the area. Hunting pressure will force boars to relocate or at least limit their movements. Hunting with firearms is the most popular method, but it's not very effective. Broken Arrow 20 in Texas works with hunters to capture and deliver wild pigs to slaughterhouses for processing. They sell 1,500, 1,700 boars yearly, preferring medium-sized pigs, 80 to 180 kilograms. Larger boars secrete more hormones, giving the meat an unpleasant odor. All pigs entering the food system undergo inspection. Federally mandated for FSX, whether farm-raised or wild-caught, there are 15 government-inspected facilities across the U.S. specializing in feral hog slaughter. Some chefs, farmers, and meat suppliers in Texas introduced wild boar to the food chain. They're turning this invasive species into a sustainable protein source for humans at an Austin restaurant. In Texas, wild boar is a menu highlight. However, eating wild boar meat poses health risks, so it's not popular. This may be a setback for the wild boar meat industry, but it's not necessarily bad. If demand rises, the species invasion could explode. Currently, Texas farmers' battle against wild boars will become increasingly difficult. Such wars often occur in America's prairies. In nearby treetops, opportunistic predators watch. Instead of hunting live prey, they fight over carcasses. The battle is equally brutal. Moving from the wild to farms, cattle quickly become targets for vultures rather than wild animals, and that's how millions of vultures impact American agriculture. Vultures have long been a nuisance in the southern U.S. They're everywhere, on porches, roofs, you name it. They're known to damage car windshield wipers in the area. Sometimes vultures even cause mid-air collisions. As farm conflicts rise, some ranchers desperately seek help. Vultures show complex behaviors, adapting to human landscapes. They outperform ground invasive species, spreading easily and increasing human conflicts. Their diverse skills and high-altitude flight help them adapt to changing food and habitat. These opportunists can feed in both land and water environments. They hunt prey in open areas, hovering about 60 meters above ground. While vultures usually migrate, they may stay during milder winters. Vultures typically inhabit open plains, deserts, or forests. Groups of up to 70 birds may perch in trees, leaving when warm air aids flight. In Spain, vultures remove about 200 tons of bones and 8,300 tons of rotting meat yearly. Quick consumption of livestock carcasses significantly cuts greenhouse gas emissions. It also saves costs of collecting and transporting cattle carcasses for processing. They clean up both domestic and wild animal carcasses in fields. Vultures are nature's cleaners, removing corpses and preventing disease spread. Vultures also recycle nutrients and reduce facultative scavenger populations, like foxes. Compared to mechanical carcass cleaners, vultures offer more benefits to the ecosystem. They've provided cultural and spiritual services for thousands of years. Additionally, they contribute to ecotourism as an entertainment service. In these settings, vultures receive excellent care. Vulture watching in an Israeli nature reserve could be worth over $1 million, with 85% of visitors coming specifically for vultures. Whether in artificial or natural habitats, vultures' positive impact on ecosystems is undeniable. However, vulture populations can still cause some damage to agriculture and American livelihoods. Unlike their red-headed cousin, the turkey vulture, which only eats carrion. Black vultures are aggressive birds that sometimes kill other animals for food. Their attacks often target young or birthing animals that can't fight back. Two men tried to pull the calf's body from the mother cow. Its body writhed in pain, waiting for death. Black vultures are present year-round in Kentucky. However, they migrate from South America to Canada, which is why their numbers increase in Kentucky during fall and winter, as northern birds move south. They're medium-sized, 23-27 inches tall, with a 5-foot wingspan, weighing 3.5-5 pounds. Vultures' ability to quickly find and eat carcasses gives them an edge over land carnivores. Each vulture clutch usually has 2 eggs, incubated for 28-40 days. Young vultures develop wings in 9-10 weeks and leave the nest after 60-80 days. By then, they're healthy and skilled hunters. Strong survival skills and few natural predators led to a vulture population boom. These birds became a problem from the Gulf of Mexico to Ohio and Texas to New York. A vulture attack can cost a farm $2,000 per animal. Vultures soar over grazing areas. They pose a significant threat. Farmers must constantly monitor their livestock. If they're not vigilant, these cows could become vulture food in an instant. American farmers can't hunt vultures because they're protected by law. Black vultures are federally protected as migratory birds and by state regulations. This means farmers can't hunt vultures without a special license. Instead, they use various alternative methods. Farmers may catch a vulture to scare off the rest of the flock, or use a mannequin. Vultures certainly don't like that. Hanging a dummy often scatters them. Farmers use effigies around homes and pastures. If they return, repeat the process. Proper livestock disposal limits vulture attacks. Indiana farmers clean dead animals before vultures arrive. They affect more than just livestock. Vultures also trouble Americans. They're not dangerous, but no one wants them around. Shock wires are on roofs in this area. This is a low-profile edge deterrent system effective against all nuisance birds. It works on the principle of fear and flight. When vultures land on the tracks, they'll get a mild shock that won't harm them but will keep them away. Using a flare to disrupt the vulture's hearing is also effective. The device uses sounds and lights like fireworks, just enough to scare off vultures. Several measures were implemented with some success. Unlike the global decline of many vulture species, black vultures are increasing in North America. They are found from the south to Midwest, along the Appalachians, and up the east coast to Canada.